The tree of liberty has been thirsty for too long. I am the spark, the powder, the match, the shot that rang, the line in the patch. I am the night they tossed the tea, the oath they swore to die free. You can chain my hands, you can break my bones, but you'll never own my soul. I am the fire in the midnight sky, the reason tyrants die. I am 1776, lightning, thunder, iron, and grit. Every musket, every fist. I am 1776. Oh, 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 oh. I am 1776. I am the flag they tried to burn, the shot that made the empire turn. I am the rebel, the Minuteman, the ink that wrote we can. We hold these truths, hear my boots on the cobblestone, hear my war cry, shake the throne, hear my drum, you know it's near, your reign of fear ends here. I am 1776, lightning, thunder, iron, and grit, every musket, every fist. I am 1776. Oh, oh, I am 1776.
It's Wormhole Wednesday. Reggie, why did you disappear? That's so funny. Look at all the people in the chat. Isn't that nice? I like that.
Good morning, everybody. Oh.
You open it up early so everybody can get in there before we start and yak away. I think usually I got it open like around 8 o'clock, I think. So anybody that wants to get in there ahead of time, we're always in there. You're just gonna sit there. You look like you're frozen.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know what. Well, I know what I'll say. I'll say if you guys get on YouTube, I'm putting shorts up all the time up there. It's clips out of the show and stuff like that. And the one about the TSA got almost 1,000 views on YouTube on the shorts already. So we're doing pretty good there.
Yeah, if anybody flies, if you can donate some money or something like that. They got these boxes and stuff like that. Actually, some airports they got food lines for them.
Yeah,
I mean, and there are 50,000 members of that organization, and they're unionized. And I mean, if they vote Democrat, they got to be insane. And if you do go to the airport, just say thank you for your service. I appreciate what you're doing, because a lot of them get paid. So
last time I flew, when it was closed down, they appreciated every time you said that. They were saying thank you and everything.
Yeah,
So
they appreciate it. There's some of them that, they like Trump. So which is good.
Most of them,
I mean,
are pretty cool. And then,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I was going to continue. Plus the shorts on YouTube. Plus, if you go on Rumble, I'm losing your shit up there, and you're able to share that too. And you can put comments underneath there. But the shorts on YouTube are doing really good if you want to share them for the show, because it has the information on there for us. That's what I wanted to say. So let's open up with a prayer for today. Then let's see. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. And that's Proverbs 3:5-6. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do you call it? Is Sean coming on this morning? Or no?
Yeah, he's just probably not here yet.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I saw that picture. He shared about him being on a plane.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, that's funny. Wait till you see it.
What was he doing?
It was, let him tell you. I don't want to break his story.
No, he sent me something last night, but it wasn't the picture from on the plane.
Oh.
I didn't. I was hoping he'd tell me how long the lines were because he said he was going from Miami. So
Still stuck at TSA. Red Ginger. Where's she going?
oh, she's probably saying Sean is still stuck on TSA. Oh, we had a troll in here already this morning. Oh, we're doing really good then.
We had a what?
We had a troll already in here in the chat.
Good morning. Oh, come on. Let me say good morning for them first. And then where they put that link up every time they put a link up. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Rosebud. Set to go to put it in the thing. What I did is I copied them all so I don't have to keep on typing every time.
Mm-hmm. RD said they shut down Reagan Airport. Why? Is it because of TSA or was there something?
Oh, that's perfect.
Huh?
They did that on purpose, so they all got to stay and vote.
They should. That's why I used to fly into Reagan like that, and you'd find everybody.
Oh man, that place sucks. I came in there a couple of times.
They got a Five Guys burger there. It don't suck.
So, yeah, well, that's if you like.
If you got to sit there, you might as well have good French fries. That's what I used to like about it. But who was it? Jane Harmon. One time I nailed her over there at the airport. She didn't have anywhere to go, so I
nailed her. Maybe nailed her. Talking about nailing her.
You know, like sitting there, and I was talking to her about politics and everything, and she couldn't really walk away because she was waiting for the plane. So I irritated her for about 20 minutes. It was kind of fun. But you could find it.
I got a uniform. I should change my shirt. I should go change my shirt.
Well, you sure? I like that shirt. There's nothing wrong with it.
We got to see what's on the back.
Probably a prayer or a Bible verse.
No, it's the American flag and the Italian flag.
Oh.
I'm Patriot by blood.
Yep.
It's a good shirt. I'll take it off. I'll show you.
It is him pulling up over your head, look like Beavis and Butthead. Oh.
So a lot of stuff happened yesterday. You had the guy from Ireland now, what is he, the president or whatever the hell he was, celebrating St. Patrick's Day at the White House. He said a lot of stuff, President Trump there, which was very interesting about, they are part of the European Union, Ireland, and they were talking about the migration and stuff, and that was the word that was put into place, the migrant work, and instead of saying bringing all the terrorists in that country, they did. What do you call it? I witnessed a lot of stuff when I was in Europe when they started doing that shit with the. They were jumping on the buses and stealing people's stuff out of the buses and stuff, phones, cell phones, bags, pocketbooks, and stuff like that. So it wasn't such a great bargain. You know what I'm saying? So, and I heard another. We're gonna play a. Let's talk about what's his name, Kent. Now, Kent was in charge of Kent ran twice for Congress, and he lost both times. But we appreciate his service and everything else. But to make a statement in the letter saying that Iran is not a threat to America, I don't know where he got that from. But there's a lot of stuff, when something happens like this, and the way he did it like right away, quit. Instead of giving 2 weeks notice, President Trump had done. But there was a lot of stuff that came up about his wife. It's amazing how the internet, likes to do the investigations about, his wife worked for a certain company and started saying a lot of trashy stuff and everything else. Now, the first time when he was running, he criticized Iran like there was no tomorrow. And don't forget, he lost his wife too in an IED explosion in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
It was Iraq, yeah, Iraq.
Yeah,
So,
he was yakking away, for the war then.
yeah. So what happened is he got married again, and I think his new wife was on the cuff of liberalism. So I don't know. You got to stay. You have that mentality, military background. I mean, especially what he did. I mean, he served a lot. I think he did 11 tours, if I'm not mistaken. And you can't. It's very hard to criticize somebody like that. It's because of the sacrifice that he made to serve and everything else. But still, you don't want to. You have, if you get appointed. Gravel said something very important last night, and he said that once you take his job. Hey, how are you, Sean? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey,
Hi, Sean.
I said that you had a nice. I was talking about Kent, but we could. How was your experience on a photo that you sent me on the plane?
Oh gosh! First of all, I didn't get in until like 3:00 in the morning. Our flight was delayed, and it wasn't because of weather or anything. It was delayed because I guess they were waiting for a crew from another flight to come in. There's a guy that flies that flight.
Yeah.
It's a late night flight from Miami to Philly, and I guess they depend on different crews and everything else. And anyway, it was forever. And oh god, by the time I got it was 3:00. But we finally get on the plane, and we go all the way back to our seat. I got this lady who is, oh my god, she was just complaining about everything. And one of those people, like, you sit down and I'm a talkative person, but you sit down and she's asking you everything about you. What do you do? Where were you? What did you do while you were there? What do you do for a living? Where do you live? What? Yeah, it was like she was like, it was like a rifle round. She was just coming out with questions. Even when we were taxiing out to the runway, she's going, "Oh, what are we just driving around here? Let's get going." Like, I was like, just
what did you call her, Karen?
No, I should have.
You should have. You said, "Well, shut up, Karen."
So
I don't.
The funny thing was, she's looking at it. So the funny thing was, she's looking at her phone, and Lana's to my right. Lana's against the window. I'm in the center, and she's on the aisle. And she's looking at her phone, and she says, "Oh, great!" She was finally Chelsea Clinton's coming out about him. I heard her, and I go, "Chelsea coming out about who? Her dad?" I go, I could see it had a picture of Trump. She goes, "The orange hair guy." Well, first of all, she didn't make sense. Trump doesn't have orange hair, right? They call him orange skin.
Yeah.
So I say, orange hair? What do you mean? Well, I said, "Oh, you mean President?" I always love to give him the President Trump because they hate calling him president. I said, "Oh, you mean President Trump?" "Well, yeah, the orange guy," she says. I said, "Well, Chelsea ought to keep her freaking mouth shut." She looked at me. I go, "Her parents, both of them, they're horrible people." I said, "Matter of fact, when they left the White House, didn't they took all kind of furniture and stuff like that? They're just scumbags." I said, "They're total scumbags." And she looked at me and then she goes, "What do you think about Hillary?" I said, "What do I think about Hillary?" I said, "You ever hear that song, Evil Woman?" I said, "They wrote that for him."
Very good, Sean.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, but before it happened, I looked at Lana. I said, I went like this. I looked over at Lana. I went, "I'm going to have some fun with this woman on the flight." And her husband was in the next aisle over, and oh gosh, it was funny. But then you know what? After that, she didn't say one thing. I mentioned about I said, "I can't believe this government's still shut down by these Democrats." I just let her know right where I was. It was funny. I ripped her and she shut right up. But as she was on the plane, I saw her. She was one of those people. She kept on sharing something on Facebook. She was sharing something on Facebook 30 times, and it was all nonsense. Anyway, That was my. By the time I got home, it was 3:00 in the morning. But it was fine. I was hoping we would have had a debate, me and her, but she didn't want to debate. It was let it go.
Well, those kind of people like that, when I get on the plane, I just don't talk to anybody. I get on there and I just put my earbuds in right away, and then I just, that's it.
Well, even while we were waiting, because we were waiting a while. I mean, the plane was delayed for over 2 hours, right?
Wow.
So we were waiting forever in the the terminal, I guess you want to call it. And there was a guy that was funny. The guy who takes that flight a lot. Apparently, he was a Republican or at least a conservative, and he's ripping the Democrats as we're sitting there. There's a bunch of people. You can see the people that were uncomfortable. There's one guy comes and sits, and I'm talking over back and forth with him. We're having a good old time. And this other guy comes and sits down next to him, and he brings up the Democrats on. And the guy goes, "We better not be talking politics. We're beginning a fight, me and you." And I was like, "Oh God, one of these guys, like they can't talk, But it was all right. At least I'm home. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one time when I'm on a plane, I wear my stuff, the 45. One lady come on, she says, "How can you wear that?" And I said to her, "Miss, be nice.
Yeah.
Keep your opinion to yourself and
Yeah.
be nice and walk on." That's all I told her.
But it's fun. I would have rather had her want to debate me a little bit. That would have been fun. Prior to the flight, it was actually pretty cool. There was a smoking lounge that Fridays had where you could sit there at the bar and have a lunch. So I had a cigar. And Lana went over to the gate, and these people came up. It was actually funny. They were it's some island started with a C. It's outside of Venezuela. First time I ever heard of it.
Caracas? No, not Caracas.
No. Caracas is the capital. It's a small island right off the coast of Venezuela. And we said, and actually we got into political talk, which was really fun. They were definitely not Trump people, but I think they were more like they weren't leftists or anything either. So we started talking, and she was saying about and they were our age, or my age, I should say, because I'm younger than you guys. I'm looking for Trixie to pop her head up, but she didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to take care of something on my phone here.
I'm the baby of the group. They were my age. I was just joking. Anyway, but she had she was trying to have a semi debate with me, which was pretty funny because she was I don't know if she was a Trump hater, but I think she was kind of like maybe gets caught up in the media kind of stuff, like those type of people. And she was talking about Venezuela, and she's like, "Wow, I don't see any change in Venezuela because they're literally like a 20-minute flight into Venezuela, apparently." She said. And I looked at her. I said, "Ma'am, not for nothing." I said, "But they've had decades of communism. Now, I don't know if this lady is the correct leader for Venezuela or not." I said, "That's a whole different conversation. But if you think there's going to be a switch flipped that they're going to go from communism to democracy like the snap of a finger, you're mistaken." I said, "It's going to take a little bit of time, But I had a good talk with her, but it was fine. I don't mind speaking politics with people that don't agree. Sometimes,
Venezuela, they couldn't put the thing that Trump did. There was the one that won the presidency and got stolen, but she's I think she's in Florida.
Yeah, we were talking about her. Yes, we were talking about her.
And the whole thing is Trump didn't want to put her in there because there were still factions in Venezuela because of the leftovers from the regime of Maduro. Whose phone is that?
Maduro.
Yeah. Whose phone is ringing like that? Yours?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My phone's my phone's hooked up and I'm getting text messages.
Okay. All right. Well,
tell me you're on a very important.
Yeah, tell me on an important show.
Yeah. I didn't gotta pay attention. I'm sorry.
It's probably Red Ginger. It's probably Red Ginger.
It was Red.
Oh, it's
we're talking about you guys. We're critiquing your attire today.
My attire? Oh my God! You're even
Should I change my shirt?
I'm still sleeping.
Should I change my shirt?
No, your shirt's fine. Your ball cap's fine. We were saying how handsome you guys look today.
No. I
woke up about 10
smoke
minutes
up your
ago.
ass.
I think I woke up 10 minutes ago, Trix. I'm even surprised I'm here.
No, I know you're doing good for being sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying about Venezuela, because the one that was the vice president, Maduro, she took over, and she's on that communist
Yes.
wavelength.
But she's willing to work with America, she says, right? So of course she's
Well,
willing to work
yeah,
with
we
America.
had, yeah. Well, then Trump's going to see how long that's going to happen.
But you know what's funny? I said to the lady, I said, because I love to ask questions. She says, well, but she's part of the communists. I said, yeah, I get it. But she goes, well, she's finally saying she'll work with America. I said, well, if she said it before when Maduro was there, she probably would have been killed. Right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Yeah, there's like 3 islands off of Venezuela. It's Playa de Coco, Island de Plata, and then Cubagura.
that was, I think it was Cuba Gore. So of all things, she flew into. You would have thought they were American. I was surprised because you're sitting. Everybody says, "Oh, where are you from?" You're talking, and when she said where she was from, I was like, "Oh, where's that?" She says, "Oh, and just off of Venezuela." And I was, I looked at her, I was shocked because she spoke perfect English. She didn't have no. Her husband looked a little bit like he was maybe Hispanic or whatever, but she looked like she'd be from. She looks like she could have been from Chicago of all, Like
Yeah.
that's why I was kind of surprised, but it was interesting talk.
Yeah, I got something to just throw in here before we get on to something else. Just
We were talking about. Later on we'll get back
It's
to
good
Joe
that's
Pesci.
Wormhole Wednesday because I feel like I'm in a wormhole right now.
Oh, I got a good one for Wormhole Wednesday today too.
You are a gay Republican.
Yes.
Why?
My politics are determined by my pocket, not my because I'm gay, not You know why gays should all be Republicans?
Why?
Because
So they can
we
live-
want less taxes so we can buy more Gucci.
I just thought it was funny. I like George Santos, so I threw that in there.
More Gucci. That's
Yeah,
funny.
more Gucci. He
Why
is
didn't
pretty
why
funny.
didn't put see how they blocked out the word retarded? What's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
well, they treated it just like
Like, it's
the
offensive.
part
Like,
that-
yeah.
like his body appendage there too. I know.
Well, they made it really thing. They made that really a bad word now because Trump uses it a lot.
Mhm.
Was he retarded?
Yeah, I know. And it's not really that bad of a word because it means you're regressive, not progressive. So if you use it that way, I don't see why they block it. It's the
Yeah.
context. But that's what happens when you got Karens, like Sean knows.
You
You
can't
got
say anything
Karens
anymore.
everywhere.
Yeah, you can't say anything anymore.
I know.
That's why that lady once I said this stuff about Bill Clinton, and I said the best was the evil woman. She looked at me. I said, "You ever hear that song, Evil Woman?" And she looked at me. Yeah, I said, "I think that was written for Hillary Clinton. That guy was smart that wrote that song because Hillary wasn't even around yet."
Mhm.
And she knew where I was coming from, and she just it just kind of really shut her down.
Yeah. No.
When you were talking about Trump, so let's play that grand strategy. What do you think? You ready?
What grand strategy?
You know what you're talking.
Too early yet. No, it's 9:00. All right,
It's
no
almost
problem.
9:00.
George was playing the grand piano last week.
Yeah, I was gonna do that
The
today.
grand piano, and now he's talking about a grand strategy. See that?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, play it. Can I play it?
it's good. It's good.
Listen carefully, America, because the media talks about headlines, but they rarely explain the strategy. So let's step back for a moment and ask a simple question. What has the United States been doing under the second Trump administration? When you step back, you begin to see something powerful, a pattern, and in geopolitics, patterns never lie. For decades, the United States watched as rival powers slowly expanded their influence across the world. China building ports and trade corridors, Russia projecting military power, Iran expanding proxy networks. But something changed. Under President Trump, the strategy shifted. Not chaos, not random decisions, a pattern. Look carefully. They started with Panama. It was never just about a canal. It was about removing Chinese influence from one of the most strategic trade arteries on Earth, the Panama Canal. Because whoever influences that canal, influences global commerce. Next, Venezuela. Look deeper. That struggle is about pushing back against the geopolitical foothold of China, Russia, and Iranian-backed networks in the Western Hemisphere. Because history has always been clear, America protects its hemisphere. Then comes Greenland. Many people laughed, but serious strategists understood immediately. It's about controlling key navigation routes in the Atlantic Ocean and securing strategic access to the Arctic region. And Greenland sits at the strategic gateway between North America, Europe and Russia. Control that region, and you secure the northern defense perimeter of the United States. Now look at Iran. This is not just about the Middle East, it's about the global energy chessboard. Because Iranian oil flows heavily toward China, while Iranian drones and weapons have supported conflicts aligned with Russia. Disrupt that system and you weaken the axis challenging the West. And finally Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida. For 60 years it has been a foothold for rival powers in America's own hemisphere. Remove those footholds, and the Western Hemisphere becomes strategically secure again. So step back and look at the map. Panama, Venezuela, Greenland, Iran, Cuba, different headlines, but the same strategic doctrine. Reduce rival superpower influence, protect global trade routes, secure American energy and security. That is not randomness. That is grand strategy. Because throughout history the United States became strongest with the patterns of power in the world. They understand something simple. A strong America protects freedom. A strong America protects stability.
I think that's very good. And
Yeah.
with starting with the Panama Canal, you know about when Trump went in there, he found out that China was running that Panama Canal with the people from Panama, and that was taken out. China's done. Venezuela, you had China, Russia, and Iran there. They dumped out as soon as Maduro went, right? All that's gone. Then you had Greenland, which we saw how NATO got involved with that one, right? And then, in fact, we are the largest group of NATO supporters. I mean, well, as soldiers and everything else, we're the largest one that supports NATO. And then with the strategy,
Well, wait, and money, soldiers
and money, yeah, and then we got Iran with the nuclear bomb that they took out. Right, they took out the nuclear facility. Then they found out that they were pulling that shit again, and we really found out what NATO was all about. They really helped out Trump. Trump called, which that's what NATO's all about, and they just asked for minesweepers from England and stuff, and you saw how they. France and England dumped us, and Germany and France. So what is NATO all about?
Did they dump us, or were they just afraid to act? Because
Well, they're afraid because they got they're covered by Muslims over there, and they're worried about the sleeper cells that are there also. All right, but and then that was right. This is about the energy. So because Iran used to send their fuel, right, to Venezuela, and Venezuela used to sell it to China because they had that embargo of Iran. So that's the only way they could have done it, by selling their stuff. And China was getting a 25% discount on the oil market too. So now what we're doing is little by little we're hurting China, which is the plan because China is hurting us, and that's why. All these things were done. The exports that are coming out of Strait of Hormuz is that we don't have Israel and the United States have nothing going through there. It's all the European countries and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why. I don't know why it's a problem for us because
obviously, yeah.
Well, obviously you got the war going on over there, but these other countries, they should be jumping at the bit to say, hey, we want to come there and help you guys secure that strait.
No, it's because of the whole thing with the thing that they decided to control. The British still want to have control. That's what they're trying to. That's what Trump was destroying. The money market, the banks that they controlled, and everything else was all about with all these bullshit that was going on. So, but if you control the energy, which I think what eventually is going to happen, we'll have troops there, but it's to control the energy, not that. And then the market, because everybody should know how the market works. We could supply our own cells with our fuel and everything else. But what happened is the oil goes to the market, and they're all sitting there, of all of them, and they decide the price of the barrels of oil. I mean, we could do it ourselves and just supply ourselves and the United States, and that'll be fine. The fuel will be like $2 a gallon.
Isn't it crazy how quick that gas jumped up when all
Oh,
this
yeah, it doesn't come down.
all this oil is futures, right? You're talking months away, right? Months away. They already have the product in the ground. It's already been refined. It's already they already have the cost factor in, and the price just shoots up like a rocket, and then it takes forever for it to come down again. It's always the case. And
Yeah,
I wonder how much
What's
gallons-
amazing is
we're going to have problems because BP, the refinery up here in Whitting, Indiana, all the 800 refinery guys are going on strike on the 27th. So the refinery, so it's going to be
wonderful.
even more, yeah.
Wonderful.
And we don't have that many refineries in the country anymore, and for them to go on strike now with all this going on, it's going to make gas.
Didn't they just announce? Didn't they just announce? I mean, they're building another refinery. Just announced, isn't that? Didn't I see that? Was that in Indiana as well? They're building it first. How far?
Yeah,
is
but
that
they're doing that for the Amazon data center so they're bringing up coal again and stuff. There's trains coming here in with coal now on the tracks around here, so you haven't seen that for a while. But the BP one is going to make a difference in the futures on the gas, on fuel market, gasoline, oil. So
yeah, but
I just wanted to throw that in there.
yeah, but again, like you got whatever they charge you for gas and how much with the taxes that are put on top. Don't forget, once that goes up, so does the taxes go up. It's a percentage of whatever it is, Like suppose they charge a 10% sales tax, the federal does. If the oil went up like 25 cents, so it's $1.75, and then 10% they charge of their state tax, their federal tax, and then you got another 10% of the state tax, not the federal tax, the state, and then you got the city tax. So I mean, everybody's raising their money because of what the top one is raising the money. I mean, if they don't, which I think it's going to be over soon, but if they don't, it's going to go up to. And what they're worried about is that if Trump's going to hit the refineries of Iran.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's not going to do that. He's already said.
No, yeah. I'm just saying
he's pretty much not going to do. I don't.
No, but that's what they're assuming that. You understand? Yeah. They're assuming that, and now they just took out another 2 liters, not liquid liters, but 2 liters of another Ayatollah, another what do they call? So
somebody was a high up leader. They just whacked.
Yeah, I mean it's just happened. Yes, go ahead. I see you got your hand on your face. You want to say something?
No, I'm just listening.
No, I know. It doesn't matter.
A lot of stuff going on for sure. Can I just say one other thing about the conversation I had? It was funny that the woman I was having a conversation with in the cigar lounge, her and her husband, from this island. I guess the islands they're pretty much Dutch. I guess maybe they're clean by what's that when you're Dutch? What's that? The Netherlands, right? Mm-hmm. So but she was like, everything for us has a European spin to it, and she starts bringing up that she goes, Trump said that people should start using Russian oil again. I said, I don't know about that. I said, I don't think Trump said to go support Russian oil. I said, because we started talking about the Ukraine war, Ukraine-Russia war too. And she says, I could tell she was leaning more against Trump than supportive, And I said, well, I went like this. I pulled my phone up. I said, if this is Ukraine, because I said about Zelensky canceling the elections. She goes, well, they're at war. I'm like, well, okay, technically they are. But I said, if this is Ukraine, right, and this is along Russia over here, this little part of Ukraine's at war, not the whole country. I mean, they're not bombing all over the place. They're big, they can have elections. I said, Zelensky doesn't want elections. I said, she brings up about Europe and about Trump saying you could go after Russian oil. I said, or buy Russian oil now or something. I said, because it was just before she said to me, everything to us revolves around Europe. I said, well, then you should be upset that Europe's been supporting this war for so long because they've been buying Russian oil the whole time. I said, that's what Trump's been bitching about with Germany, with when they were buying. Oh, well, I guess they they're worried about high prices. I mean, that's what I said, okay, but you're worried about a war also, aren't you? Like, what is it? Like, which, right? It was funny, though. But,
Yeah, I got. You know what? I'm going to show you what Dems are like.
This is what Republicans think Democrats are like. We wake up bright and early in our polycule ready to fight for Antifa against Christian values and the patriarchy. For breakfast, we have a balanced meal of clinical grade antidepressants, Adderall, and estrogen. Thanks, Obamacare.
We then flush the leftovers to make sure the fish turn gay and Venezuelan. Oh, and I almost forgot. We have to feed the illegal immigrants and MS-13 gang members we're hiding from ICE. They're so grateful.
Next, we drop off one of our polycule for her weekly abortion. After her 10th, she gets one free. Then we start our workday with the Trans Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the gay of the fascist states of America and to the republic which has fallen, trans rights for illegal migrants.
After that, a training on affordable childcare best practices. Now it's time to figure out who we're going to cancel next. Not sure yet, as long as we ruin someone's promising career. Finally, we donate our welfare money to Somali daycare centers that are totally real and open.
Now it's time to get some fresh air, and on the way we do some mobile activism against the far-right establishment. Then we swing by Antifa headquarters, conveniently disguised as a public library. Once inside, we attend our mandatory drag story hour. On the way home from Antifa HQ, we drop off another polycule member for her weekly abortion.
For dinner, we eat cruelty-free lettuce because we believe animals have more right to live than white men. Finally, we end our day in an anxiety-riddled catatonic state due to Trump derangement syndrome.
And that's our day.
Is that about sum it up in a nutshell? I mean, I think they hit every single thing, and it's not what we think; it's what we know about them. You know, they're all crazy.
I changed my shirt. That's where I went.
Why did you go change your shirt?
We're getting text with my shirt.
Oh,
That's the back of my shirt I was wearing.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
That's nice. You got the Italian flag and the American flag.
but see what it says on the bottom? Oop.
Well, yeah, you got to go the other way. American by birth, patriot by choice. Amen.
yeah, George.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up if you like George's Italian shirt. So maybe we'll get more thumbs up that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like that shirt.
You see, the American flag came first, as you noticed.
Yeah, well, because you're American first,
That's right.
Your legacy is Italian. Your legacy is Italian. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But I just thought that video summed up, the Democrats in just 1 minute and 20 seconds.
What happened?
So
I said that summed up the Democrats in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
yeah,
Well, everybody see what's going on with Virginia with their with the gun control now that they're coming out with all. I don't know if everybody's paying attention with that about what's going on in Virginia. In 2020, January of 2020, in the effing cold, we were there in Virginia. I'll show you some pictures there. I wish I could put them. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Well, you want to put that up?
But I didn't know you were ready for it.
There were 60,000 people there. That's the capital of Virginia. And we were protesting about them taking away the Second Amendment.
that's right. I remember that. I remember seeing that. That's right.
And there's even
Yeah, but the Virginians are getting what they voted for, so I don't feel sorry for them one damn bit.
you know what the problem is where the rural area is and stuff like that. They didn't vote for that shit. I'll tell you right now, because they're gun happy people.
No, they didn't. That lady ran as a moderate, number one, and then totally flipped. And that's going to be their playbook everywhere. You can't.
Now, believe it or not, I'm going to say something. When I was walking up the block, going to this event, I saw.
Is that you right there, George? I think I see you right there.
Yeah, that's me. All right, when I go, I'll say I'm going. But the thing that you put the next picture up. When I was walking up the block, I had tears in my eyes because I saw buses from Colorado, from North Dakota, South Dakota. I mean, actual bus that people were bussed in. There were 60,000 people there. I even have there's another photo there.
Bussed in, but they weren't paid by groups like George Soros and.
No, everybody came on their own. It was very important because how important Virginia is. You can put up the next photo there, Mrs. Personality. In fact, Mark Smith was there right when I was holding that pipe. You didn't see him, but that's the guy that was in charge of the Proud Boys, Enrique Torrio, who was in prison for 4 years with the J6 thing. So, but that's how the
Mark. You said who was there? You said before him. You said who?
Oh, Mark Smith. Yeah,
who was
Mark.
that?
That's he's the president for Boots on the Ground Bikers for Trump. He's up in Ohio, but I know him for years. You know, we went to the state together. We were talking about it and everything else. So, but there was a lot of people that we know, and in fact, every block, like any place there was an intersection, they had a group of 6 guys, bulletproof vest, with AR-15s, fully loaded to protect us. They were for us. They were all masked, but we knew who they were.
Where'd they come from?
Oh, they were just patriots, and from they were like militia people.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all set up and all. If we had any problems or anything else, but they were all set up all around the whole area. It was 60,000 people. It was unbelievable. It was something else, and it was showed. It shows. I think we should have another one. I was going to find the pictures we had in Washington to stop the steal and how many people there. There were close to 1 million people there in Washington, and I think that's what. If this shit doesn't get passed with the SAVE Act.
Well, the procedural vote went through.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The only one that said no was
Murkowski.
Yeah. Who is I could see Collins saying no, and I could say okay, I get it because she's and she's hanging on the Republican seat there, whatever. This Murkowski, Trump won by in Alaska, what 30 points or something like that. There's no reason for her to say no.
Well, she's so. Just saying, it's just that she's got the TDS too.
And when I say I can see the other one saying no, I can't say it, but I'm just saying if you're going to see one that says no, I could see it being Collins, not this Murkowski.
And look what's happening because the way the Democrats are, these communist mother effers. I mean, look how they're inconveniencing people in the airports, and especially now that it's coming, the spring break and stuff. I mean, it's just like, what are you trying to do?
Well, I just saw I just for Philadelphia. You talk about the travelers. Just in Philadelphia, I just saw something that I think it's by next Monday, they're going to have 2 less areas closed down. So they're going to, they're converging everybody onto one area now. That's when it's really good. Because I got to say, I didn't really get held up that crazy yesterday. I got through pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But as this goes on and people start calling out because of they got to go do something else. That you're going to see that these sections are going to get closed down. They're going to make smaller sections, and there's going to be a lot more people. That's what's going. That's what's by next week. This is really going to be crazy. I'm sure.
Well, this is the plan. This is their plan. And the strategy is the Democrats keep on saying it's the Republicans' fault, and they don't explain what they're fighting for. And the Republicans are going to come out more and say what they want to make this. I don't think the Republicans should give in to the demands of what the Democrats want. It's just that the Democrats stick all together, and the Republicans got to do the same thing, which they don't do. No. They should come out and talk and say, "Listen, this is what they want done. They want everything to go into courts with the illegals. They have no rights. The illegals. They have no rights at all. They're illegals and they're breaking the law. They have no rights, and this is what they want." And Schumer said on a closed mic, he said they need the illegals to vote, or else they're not going to win the elections. Mm-hmm. And that's what the biggest thing.
How about McConnell voting yes on the procedural vote?
Well, he figured before he dies, he might as well do something right.
But technically, if they vote yes for the procedural vote, I guess their vote yes for the actual vote, I would think, right?
Yeah. Well, what's going to happen is they're going to do the filibuster, and then what's his name is going to have to come in, Vance, and do the final vote So that's what happens. I mean, they got to do the filibuster no matter what. It's just that they're all
We're
complaining
still
about
talking about ranked choice voting in chat. That's what
Oh
we're
yeah,
talking.
that's why that's why Murkowski's still in there because of
Yep.
ranked choice voting.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about in chat. Why you going to
What happened?
We're talking about ranked choice voting in chat because that's part of the problem that we have in the country. Because if you have ranked choice voting, you're going to get somebody that runs as a moderate Democrat, and they're going to get in there, and you're going to get people that are on the fence that are going to go that way if they got TDS.
Yeah, but
we're screwed. So we got to get rid of that. That's
look
what
at the governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia, they thought she was a moderate.
Yeah, but Spamberger was CIA. I'm sorry. I know I got everybody worked up in chat over that one, but if you did your homework and you looked, you would know that, it was probably a psyop, everything she was saying. They promised everything and they don't do it.
Yeah, ranked choice voting is totally different than with the Spamberger thing. And like one citizen put, it's another cheating scam. And I agree. I think it's a way of cheating.
Yeah, well,
and
they with the cross party lines voting.
Yeah,
they do that.
Well, I was going to say, is it an open primary?
Well, what happens in Ohio is big with that. Like, say there were two candidates in Ohio running for office in a primary, right? So now the Democrats could vote in that primary. So now what they could do is they pick that other jerk off. What's his name? The little twerg that's Ohio's governor. So they made the Democrats.
DeWine.
So they what?
DeWine.
Yeah, DeWitt, I call him. And they voted for him so he could be on the ticket, and then because they know he's a weaker Republican than the other guy was, you know what I'm saying? So this is the thing.
Yeah, but I just totally lost my freaking thought now.
I happened to George yesterday.
I don't know. I was thinking of something.
George blamed that on you yesterday.
Yeah,
I know. I was waiting to jump in, and then I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Well, the GOP is weak.
Oh, I know what it was. When you have ranked choice voting, people that only get 35 and 45% of the vote can win. And so they need to make a state law that if you do not get 50% in ranked choice voting, that there is no runoff on anything unless they do that. Because if you don't get 50%, you're not getting most of the population with you. That's what I was going to say.
Well, the only problem with that is because it's really geared up to take a couple candidates. So I don't think they'd be able to do it off of 50% because then you would have if you're looking.
I don't care. Make a couple of runoffs like that. They do it in the primary.
Well, yeah, but when they have these runoffs, if they're going to do that it would rank. Oh, you're talking about overall. You mean at the end?
Yeah, overall. If you only get 30 to 40% of the vote, then you shouldn't be able to win that way. Because that's not a clear majority. So that's what I was trying to say. So I think that's part of the problem too. When you think about it, but
I think people just got to get out and primary the shit out of her. Now, she was a no, right? Trump came out with a post the other day that he will not support or endorse any senator that votes no on this. Mm-hmm. So obviously we know, he won't be endorsing Murkowski. I don't know when her
32 is up. Yeah, 32 of the ones that Trump endorsed won.
Oh, it's up in 28. So 28, she's on the ballot. So obviously, hopefully Trump gets out there and endorses whoever is running against her in the primary, and hopefully she gets knocked out.
And I agree with somebody in the chat that said the GOP is weak. Yes, they are, because they had a Muslim running on a Republican ticket. She was a Democrat in North Carolina. And then the one that's up in Illinois, the one that was the mayor that was handled with all the thieves, she's going to Georgia and a run on a Republican ticket. So I mean, like, what is the purpose of the GOP? Except sending
the purpose is
collect money.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many people get texts every day from Red, and it's if I don't get 5 or so a day, I even get texts that say, "Sean, if you want to stop the text, act now and donate." Like, what the freak? Like, yeah. Oh my God, I can't stop. My buddy says, just keep on saying stop. I keep on saying stop. I get more.
Yeah, they just changed the phone number from where they're coming from. I know I get the same stuff all the time too about Trump's mad at you. How come you've abandoned us? That kind of stuff. And what I think everybody should do is if you get any kind of fundraising material in the mail from the RNC or anything like that, just write what you feel on the piece of paper that comes with it, stick it in their prepaid envelope and mail it back to them. After a while, they'll stop that shit because they'll be paying for postage on getting all kinds of spam. I think it's funny, but I think it's time for a little bit of wormhole. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you're late.
Oh, jeez. Oh, where's my wormhole thing? I can't find it. Oh, well. Oh, here it is.
There you are. Welcome to Wormhole Wednesday, where conspiracy meets reality.
All right. So what we're going to talk about today is actually really interesting. I'm going to put this up. So this is the Adam and Eve story. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit because I did have to make an outline on this because there's a lot of information on it. So
there we go, the apple.
Is George part of the story by any chance?
No.
You're not in this, George?
Yeah, I always brought apples to the teacher. I know, especially if they were female. I used to get a lot of credit.
All right. So what if Adam and Eve really wasn't about sin, but about a catastrophe? So in 1966, Chan Thomas did a whole write-up about everything, and the CIA had it, and they finally declassified it in 2013. And what the whole story is about a crust slip on the Earth, the Earth's crust. So what they're saying is that every 6,000 to 10,000 years, the crust of the Earth flips just like an orange peel, so it'll slide right off. So it would be like a magnetic pole shift. But what happens is the ice at the poles will start melting when the magnetic pole goes, and you end up with an earth wobble, and it affects the core inside the Earth, and then everything will shift. So the oceans, when that happens, and it happens in hours, it doesn't take years to do it. So you'll get the oceans will start slamming onto land at about 1,000 miles an hour. The winds are humongous. There's no way you could make them through there. If volcanoes explode, you get mud everywhere. And this kind of ties into Tartaria and the mud flood. So when that happens, it usually takes about 45 seconds and it'll wipe out 99% of the population. So when that happens, you end up with just a very small core of people that were able to survive. And for an example, you would have to be, to survive that, you would have to be like way up in the Andes Mountains, or just way in the heck up. So there's two stories that go along with that. If you're familiar with what's in the Bible and what's in the Sumerian text, there's Gilgamesh and there's Noah. So Gilgamesh was written way before Noah. And it was the same story, that there was a humongous flood that came and the crust of the earth was displaced and people were spread out all over and there were very few survivors. So then you come back, another thousands of years and we have the same story with Noah in the Bible. So Adam and Eve, if you look in the Bible, that would have been 11,500 years ago is what they're assuming. And then Noah's flood was like 7,000 years ago. So Genesis, if you look into the Bible, actually hides those two real disasters. They're basically related to the same one. If you go into every, culture or anything like that in history, almost every single area, even in Asia and everything, they all have the same story about how a huge flood came and the earth was rocking and the wind came and everything was destroyed. Okay. So what this guy did, Chan Thomas, is he went through all the geomagnetic records of the world. He went through soil samples and all that kind of stuff. And he found that a lot of this was all true. Just like when they say they find like the megadons with, flower blossoms in their mouth and everything, and they were like frozen right away. Well, that would prove basically that there was a geomagnetic flip and that everything went around. Now, this book is 57 pages long. It's not real long. I can go through some of them, but he has the cross sections. You can't read them from here, but let me get into this. So it's all about cataclysm. I'm trying to get to where the diagram says, but it goes on about the great floods and everything. So the Mayans even had a whole, in their mythology about the sun going backwards and everything, which would make a lot of sense because at one point the entire continents weren't separated like they are now. It was called Pangea. They were all one.
Like a puzzle. Yep.
Yeah. So when the first one of these would happen, that would make sense of why everything broke up and started the continental drift, where they all started going off to different places. So right now our magnetic field is actually starting to weaken and it's moving all over the place. So what if Adam and Eve were really about the doomsday, and it wasn't that their sin was so bad that they were kicked out of Eden, but one of these catastrophes could have happened on that. So it cycles, and when it cycles like this, it hasn't in quite some time. And if you follow like everything that's going on with the geomagnetic pole right now, if we keep going, we would be close to something like this happening again. And especially with the atmosphere weakening and the electromagnetic waves, ultraviolet coming here, that all affects the core of the earth. And that is basically what can cause that. So if you want to read it, it's available online and it goes into a lot of detail. I'm not going to go into a lot of it because I can, but it has a lot of religion. It covers the religion and it covers, what do you want to call it? The geology of the earth. And it just goes into the cycles. So there was no truth to it. You wouldn't think the CIA would actually classify it. Why would they classify it? Unless they didn't want a lot of people to panic or to know anything like that. But I've got it in PDF format, so I can email it to anybody that wants it. But if you go through this, it covers all of it. I was trying to find where the diagrams are in here. But all these that he has, like here, are all, about their bullet points for everything that he was able to prove through geology and soil samples and going through ancient text in different languages and everything. So I thought it was a really interesting thing. I've known about it for quite some time, but I thought it would be a good thing to cover on Wormhole, because even like he says here, the similarity of languages in the world, from Polynesian to Greek to Egyptian to Mayan to Eskimo to Yukon Oriental and more, they all are very similar. The only one that isn't would be the Basque language, and that one has no root with it whatsoever. But it would explain like why the Grand Canyon looks the way it does, with all the different sediment layers that go up. And when you see all the red layers where you'll see the strips, that's all iron oxide. And so iron oxide would only happen when you have like a lot of sulfur and stuff into the atmosphere. That would create iron oxide coming down and covering the earth. So that would account for all those sediment layers. So I thought it was just a really interesting thing to cover for Wormhole Wednesday.
Tower of Babel, and people are saying stuff in the chat.
Mm-hmm. But this is a real I just don't. So there has to be something to it for the CIA to keep it classified from 1966 to 2013. Now there are portions that are redacted, and I don't think we'll ever find out what the redacted portions are. But it's a real good read on.
You don't think? Wait, you don't think?
What?
Do we ever find out what the redacted versions are, if anything?
I don't. Sometimes you do. If you're able, there's some computer programs. If they don't redact it correct and you put it in PDF format, you can back it up and take the redaction off. But to hide this for so long, there's something to it. There's really something to it. But the magnetic pole shift has always been talked about in different.
Like you said, could you put the PDF file up in the chat?
I can. Can I put it in the comments?
Yeah, the comments, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the comments. Yeah, you can do it in the comments.
I know what it's on. Okay, I'm gonna look for it when I get done talking then. But it would make for a lot of people say it's a conspiracy, but there's too much physical evidence to support this to say that it's a conspiracy, especially if you went through, ancient history with every civilization having the same flood story or flood myth. I mean, even the Indians, like in America, have that. But it would account for like all the Egyptian artifacts that were found in the Grand Canyon and everything too, because at one point all these continents could have been together. So it's not so far out of the realm of possibility to assume that they had to cross all this water to get here and put it there. No, it's because they were able to transverse all the land because it was all together at one time. But as kids, like what George said too, any kid that looks at, you'll look at a map of the world and you look at all the continents, you can clearly see it's a puzzle and those puzzle pieces.
Yeah, they all fit together. Yeah, they will.
Yeah. Back when we were kids, the teachers would tell you no, but now it's coming out, that's what actually happened and they have a name for it too. So I thought this was really, really interesting.
They said they had pyramids along the Mississippi River.
Yeah, I saw the map from 1589. One of the original maps has pyramids up alongside the Mississippi River. So it's you got to figure we could get into the conspiracy too that really they're saying that
maybe they were planned for a casino.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Part of that conspiracy is that Israel isn't where it is now. Israel was actually in the Midwest along the Mississippi River. There's so many correlations that go with the Mississippi River and Egypt and where the pyramids were. There's replicas in different continents with the same setup with the pyramids where they look set up just exactly like the star system Sirius. So there's a lot to it. So I guess that's all I want to say about that. So I can send this to you guys if you want. I don't know how else to put a link up. I could put it underneath the show today. I can put the link.
Yeah, in the comments.
Yeah, no, on Rumble, in the comments on Rumble.
Yeah.
Not in our chat. But go on Rumble and I'll put it on there underneath there. The link.
That's what Red was saying in the comment section, not the chat.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you meant the comment there.
The chat disappears real quick there.
Yeah.
The show.
So that's Wormhole Wednesday for this Wednesday.
That's good. Good stuff.
Yeah. See, I only took 15 minutes. Well, not even 15. I think I did.
No, that was a quick one, but it was that's.
Well, if it wasn't for the redactions, as they say, I think if it wasn't for magic markers, there wouldn't be any.
Sharpies make for good redactors.
Oh, now they got the hearing for what do you call Mullen for the Department of Homeland Security there. Anyway, there's what do you want to do now? We want to talk about the game over?
How about this stuff with Joe Kent? I seen was it Aunt Janet?
Well, we were talking about it before, then I got really interrupted by Trixie as usual. So
well, then I'm going to interrupt you right now. How do you like that? This is Steak and Shake. They're putting out a Patriot milkshake that comes with the Statue of Liberty, red, white, blue sprinkles, and the flag, and it's $2.50 for America's 250th anniversary.
She got to think about that.
So go ahead and patronize Steak and Shake because they're MAGA.
Yeah, well, they did the
I hope we get free food from the plug.
Can you bring a dozen of those to
that'd be a good idea.
Savannah? Yeah, can you bring a dozen of those?
There's a shake and steak. I think there's a steak and shake.
I'll take a shake over a waffle.
I would definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I the breakfast at my hotel, they didn't have a freaking waffle maker. I said to the people, I said, my friend Mark would not approve of this.
Yeah, Mark would. He'd probably get them to write a contract up that they got to have a waffle maker.
That's good. That's good.
I'm trying to buy myself some time here to get the link put up. So,
what link?
What link? I don't know. I was just talking about it. I was going to grab that.
Did you when you talked about Kent? Did you say any of his stance? What he was? You know,
no, I didn't. We stopped it. So you could do that if you want.
Oh well, no. Well, oh my God, Laura Loomer's been. She was all over him last night.
Yep.
She stated about, matter of fact, she put something up and I think right after she posted something, Trump ended up posting something about what he said. He says, oh gosh, here it is. Here, let me get it for you. I just had it. I lost it. Oh God! Oh, here it is. He put a post up January 8th of 2020, and he said, "At real Donald Trump, we should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic capability out, and get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now. No U.S. WIA/KIA is a tribute to the professionalism of our military intel professionals, not Iranian restraint." Not Iranian restraint. So in other words, he's saying don't have restraint against Iran, go after him, and then he resigns in protest. But it sounds like he was going to get fired. That's probably why he resigned. He wanted to beat him to the punch.
Well, sometimes Trump will give you that way out, but sometimes the way he did it, he didn't do the 2-week thing. He just did it. But there's a lot of stuff that was put on by his wife, a lot of negative stuff about talking about. So they don't. That's the thing is everybody goes. They look at the letter, then they claim, "See, we were brought into the war because of Israel," and that's the statement he made. So it's always bringing about the thing with Bibi, Israel, and everything else. But if everybody paid attention to that first video we played about the strategy that Trump had, it was step by step. Panama Canal, China was in there, got removed. Venezuela, China, Russia, and Iran were in there. They're gone. Greenland, protecting the north part of America. And then Iran had the nuclear thing, and they took them out, and they warned them.
Yep.
Trump stopped Israel from hitting what? Trump stopped Israel from hitting what?
Oh, go ahead. Trump stopped Israel from hitting. Go ahead.
Trump was stopping Israel from hitting Iran. And he kept on doing it. That's why he did the negotiations and everything else. He tried to negotiate.
Trump is Bibi's puppet, but Trump is the one that put restraint on Israel. Absolutely right, George. And people are saying
yes. And this is what
idea they're saying. Yep,
yeah, but
I agree.
The whole thing is nobody paid attention to the beginning of the strategy plan from Panama Canal. The thing is that we have adversaries that are against us, and China's dying to cripple us. I mean, you got that piece of shit that's in there, that guy that's he's from India that's set in China, funding all these rallies that are anti-ICE and all this other shit that lives in China. And you look at the protest, you have the protest there. If you look at the protest, about the Palestinian one and the anti-Israel and all this and everything else, the ICE agents, you'll see there's Chinese kids in there. There's 270,000 students from China here in America going to our colleges. They're not taking liberal arts like these other jerk-offs do, and they're not, and they're making sure that these professors are doing this shit against America. So this is the problem. It goes all around about the money, but the thing that's important is the steps that everybody forgets about, the steps that Trump did before to get to where he is now with Iran. We don't have to worry about the Straits of Hormuz. The only time we worried about the Straits of Hormuz when Thomas Jefferson sent the Marines there. That's why the whole song about Shores of Tripoli. And that's why they were known as leathernecks, because they actually put leather around their neck to protect themselves when the swords would come when they were fighting the Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. So, I mean, that's because they were interfering with all our shipping stuff. But we got the Suez Canal now. You got other stuff that's mostly European stuff, and we're helping the Europeans. And then he tested NATO out, and NATO failed. We give so much money to NATO, and NATO failed. They don't pay their fair share. Still don't pay their fair share. So that's what everything was a strategy to show everybody who we got behind us, which is nobody. And it was just proven. He proved it out, and we don't need them. We don't need them. He asked them. But we saved their fucking ass World War II a couple of times, didn't we?
Yeah. Yep. Tricks, I got a clip for with Dan Bongino and Laura Ingraham. They were talking about Joe Kent. You want to play that real quick?
Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a short clip. It's a short clip, but it's interesting.
Which one is it? There's a couple down here.
It's got Laura.
What's on the cover of it? There's one that's got Putin on it. There's one with Trump with yellow tape behind it.
Liberal media gushes over Joe Kent.
Oh, okay. I saw some. I didn't go down far enough.
Dan, now we've seen this before, right? And it's usually people who are really have gone hard left on everything. George Conway, Liz Cheney, John Bolton, John Kasich. The list goes on and on. You turn on Donald Trump, and they embrace you for a time.
Yeah, this is the whose ox is gored effect. I mean, I've seen it with me during my tenure in the administration, where they'll pick some right-wing radio host or podcaster they hate, who they call the conspiracy theorist or a nut job, and the minute he says something against someone they hate, Donald Trump or in my case me, they'll be like, respected voice in the conservative movement. They do this all the time. You're going to see this with Joe Kent in the coming days. Listen, Joe's decorated history of service is beyond reproach, and his sacrifice with his family is just unspeakable. I don't even like to think about
his
it.
wife, who passed,
however,
who was killed.
Yeah, I mean, there was her name is emblazoned on a plaque in a facility I can't really talk about, and when you read the story there, it's a tough story to read. But, again, as I've said with other, the sacrifice is beyond reproach. That doesn't mean that this current opinion is any more fact-based, because it's not. I'm really sorry, Laura. I mean, I read probably a lot more intelligence than he did, because they don't have a law enforcement function, the National Counterterrorism Center. They're an analytical clearinghouse. They're valuable. However, I had access to just about everything. And how you could come to the conclusion that the Israelis did it and there was no imminent threat here? Really? What about the anti-ship ballistic missiles, the drone program, 440 kilograms of 60% enriched nuclear material, their constant death to America chance? I mean, that's called evidence.
People forget that was very good, because I saw that. It was unbelievable. But people forget the assassination attempts on Trump. The ones that were done, majority of the time, was from Iran. They wanted to take him out because they
just arrested the guy that playing on it, right? But one of them, one of the times.
Well, this is what I'm saying. There's more to the story than people get sucked in. TikTok. Look, sometimes TikTok is great, but sometimes TikTok's got bullshit on there that these people, and every one of these ones that come up, like we played that video yesterday about Israel and about the proof, to show the proof and everything else. It's constantly, first everybody blamed George Soros. Then from George Soros,
I can't understand a word he's saying. It's not it's the accent. It's a little bit tough for me to hear.
You had to do that now? Now you pissed me off. That's it. Now I'm pissed. I'm serious. All right, that's it. Goodbye. I'm going to hang up. I swear to God. I'm not going to pull that shit now. I'm talking something serious now.
Oh, my God. You've been talking. Keep talking about.
No, I'm not talking now. Forget it now.
Oh,
lost the whole train of thought. No, I'm serious. I'm talking about something serious here, and you pull this shit. You don't pull that stuff now. I'm with the jokes, fine, but not that. I'm trying to protect something, and you go off the wall here.
Well, that's all right. We've been talking about Joe Kent, and everybody's getting tired of talking about Joe Kent.
I'm not talking about it. I'm just talking about everything that falls into place here.
Well, then go ahead and finish.
No, I'm not going to say it now. Forget it.
Okay.
I don't know what you were saying, but it sounds like an argument to me.
Yep. Unbelievable. Some stuff I took seriously. Don't pull that shit. Everybody knows we're human here. So that's it.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next stuff. What do you have there, Trix? You have something?
We don't have enough time for it. I had something about the caliphate, but we were talking about Joe Kent.
Whatever you want, put up.
The cal is fat?
The caliphate.
Oh, the
caliphate about Islam. I wanted to talk a little bit about Islam.
Put that up. Yeah, put that up. That was good. Put that up.
say convert, pay up or die, and they look you in the eye, knowing you believe the lie, that inclusion was everybody's friend, when the truth now we all know, that was the beginning of the end. You didn't fight back, you failed to resist, and now the country is under their fist. No sun, no fun, no sky, all the music now must die. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? Have one wife, 3 or 4, when they're knocking on your door, asking if you're reciting the Quran, telling you you're gay and stoning you today. No matter if you're a woman or a man, you didn't say no, you failed so it seems, and now you are under the Islamic regime. No laugh, no dance, no art, kill animals through their heart. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? They steal your daughter for their wife and imprison her for life, saying she's old enough at 9. They will exterminate your dog, a scorpion to your frog. Don't complain, just keep saying you are fine. It's far too late, you're way out of time. About 10 years ago, that was the line. No Christian or...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought that was important to bring up because people, you're talking about the Muslims and stuff all the time, and if we don't do anything like that, they're going to take over. That's what their fatwa is, and they put it on us.
Was that an official Disney?
No, it was just made like a Disney. Yeah, it was made like Disney.
There's no way that was Disney. There's no way it was Disney. It would be Disney would be the woke version of everything.
Well, you know how some people have short attention spans? I think that's why they did that, to get you hooked, so then you get facts in it. But I thought it was kind of a creative way to present it myself.
That's interesting. It's
Well,
very
yeah, they put a fatwa on us, so you might as well, look at the lady you had next to you on the plane,
Well, Debo came up with a question. Who's funding that big expansion in Texas? And it's CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood. That's who's doing that expansion in Texas. That was the question in the chat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're funding all kinds of stuff around here. They're funding the protests and everything. But, with USAID, I think a lot of it has stopped. You're not seeing as much. I mean, the protesters are still getting paid, but I don't, where that money's coming from, who knows?
Well, that's why they want to get him on the RICO Act, the guy that's in China. That's who's funding it. They found out where the money's coming from.
It's not coming from RICO.
Yeah.
I got a video here. It's only a minute long. Pressler just posted it not too long ago, and it's pretty interesting about the Democrats when they were looking to squash the filibuster. I thought it was kind of interesting. If you want to play that real quick.
Okay, is it the one on the bottom next?
It's got.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
Yes. Yep. There you go. Right. Just hear this for a second.
First, begin here with this attempt by Senate Democrats to advance this landmark voting rights bill, which, we expected, and it did fail yesterday on the Senate floor. Their efforts to pass a filibuster rule change was shut down by 52 votes to 48 last night. Democrats Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema joined 50 Republicans in rejecting the rule change. Earlier on CBS Morning, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, spoke with Gayle King about the next move for the White House.
Well, what we will do is we will keep fighting to get the legislation passed because that is critical. So we are not giving up on that. And then it is a matter of continuing to do the work of executive orders, doing the work through the Department of Justice, which has been litigating these cases in the various states because we believe that they are a violation of the spirit of the Constitution of the United States. It is going to be about continuing to elevate this conversation because, Gail, frankly, you'd be surprised how many people in the burden of everyday life are unaware of what's happening in these states, but when they become aware of laws that make it illegal to give people food and water if they're standing in line, they're outraged.
So I'm burdened by what has been. They wanted to thank God for Manchin and Sinema, or else the Democrats would have rained hell on everything, stacked the court, right? They would have did the D.C. statehood, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been screwed. So,
yeah. I like how they took out another one of the commanders yesterday overnight. So what are we up to? 4 or 5 of them now in Iran?
Oh,
I think that many.
Yes,
No.
yes. I thought you were talking about Washington football team.
Yeah, they're taking them out. I don't know how you would. I don't know. There's so much stuff going on, though, with the Islam thing. So that's probably, we're going to go back to Joe Kent again, but that's part of the problem with him, with his wife being a sympathizer and everything, too. She was supporting all of that kind of stuff. So you wonder how much of it was he really quit or how he was forced into resignation. Maybe there's something, it could be something coming out pretty soon, that would have really reflected bad on the Trump administration. So you just don't know.
Yep, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
want to play those videos or not?
Lying to you about this shutdown. The media says it's a revolt against President Trump's immigration crackdown, but that is a big lie. Here's George Soros's favorite senator, Chris Murphy, on Fox yesterday.
We're still pretending that ICE is going after dangerous people. They aren't. Right now, 70% of the people that they are detaining have absolutely no criminal record. What is happening?
DHS says 70% of those they're arresting, and that's their number, do have some kind of criminal record.
What is happening in Minnesota right now is a dystopia. ICE is tear gassing elementary schools. It is disappearing legal residents into cars. It is murdering American citizens.
The governors of Minnesota, New Jersey, and New York all say they want the government shut down until the Trump administration reforms ICE to their specifications and abandons the immigration policies which got Trump elected. But this shutdown is not even really about ICE. It is a desperate reaction to an economic declaration of war on the globalist free trade system by President Trump. I'm Barbara Boyd, and I've studied the battle between the American system and the British free trade system ever since I first read about the American system back in the early 1970s. Today, I'll expose the Democrats' true motivation, show you how this parallels the first Civil War under Abraham Lincoln, and explain exactly how we win this battle in the midterms. So if you're up for taking the country back, please like and share this video. It increases our reach on YouTube. The Democrats go for civil war. Minnesota Governor Kim Walz let the cat out of the bag last week in his interview with The Atlantic. He said President Trump's enforcement of immigration laws is about to cause a new civil war. New Jersey's Governor Mickey Sherrill and New York Governor Kathy Hochul made similar statements. They are now vowing massive state resistance to the federal enforcement of immigration laws. Here's Walz.
So look, we all think we all want to avoid that, but I think the reality has sunk in this week. If you thought you could pass this by and you thought there was nothing there, I mean, is this a Fort Sumter, John Brown? Where are we at on this?
Fort Sumter, John Brown? Are the Antifa thugs in Minnesota claiming John Brown's terrorist mantle? That accelerated the Civil War. The insurrectionists at the Atlantic just love to push that out there. But by the end of the week, the president had informed the blue states that he is not falling for the...
Interesting.
That's the battle. And they want to push civil war. The Democrats.
Oh, sure they do, because they want to lock people up. So if they get you to do something that's, you know, just like the bullshit in January 6th that they push people on.
And there's 12 people still not completely pardoned too.
Yeah.
They can't get a job. I had a guy call me up the other day. Every place he goes, they turn him down for work because of he doesn't have the full complete pardon. And that's a shame that they just like dropped the fucking ball on that one. Yeah. But people don't know what's going on.
Yeah, well, people know a lot.
I'm trying to get the guitar I had signed by all the J6s. I'm trying to get it signed by. I had Ted Nugent sign it, Byron Donald sign it, General Flynn sign it. We had them sign it, and then I'm trying to get Trump to sign it. So if Trump signs it, I'll auction it off, and I can get these guys the money. You know, so. But that's another battle that I have. I'll find out Friday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Just don't hit it over anybody's head, George.
No, I'm not bringing it with me. I'm
Not
gonna
golf club.
wind up go back with it again. But I'm just,
Yeah, they're talking about the FCC chair, about the media allowing lies and everything. Yeah, that's part of the problem too, because they tie that into the NDAA with the Smith-Mundt Act, and then you're not able to really squash any of the misinformation that's going out in the propaganda.
Yeah,
psyops on the other side. They do that all the time. They
we
do
say
it
that
all-
all the time when they get when the House investigates and has you across the way from them, they make you raise your right hand and tell the truth, not but the truth, and they don't do that. They don't do that. Congress doesn't do it, and the Senate doesn't do it, so they can lie through their teeth.
They could insider
Say-
trade. They could lie through their teeth.
Yep.
Rules for me, not for.
Yeah,
or was
that's
it
it.
rules for thee, not for me?
Well, they're allowed to do that right on the Senate floor. Whatever they say is protected for them as long as they're behind that podium in Congress. And I think that's a shame. And I don't think somebody needs to do something about it, but they won't, because every one of them use it. It doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. I think the Democrats use it more than the Republicans do.
Yeah, but why?
But it's done. It's
Why?
done.
Because you go back to that sexual harassment.
No, I was just saying they got a slush fund for. Yeah, they got a slush fund to. What do we expect? You know what? People, you know, we're not organized as whatever. You know, they should go and protest at Washington. They want a list of who used it, and anybody that votes no, that there should be an all-out assault to vote those people out. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, or who. Should be an all-out assault to vote those people out and get somebody else in the seat. Like I said,
Well, the best thing, the best thing Trump said was that he's not going to endorse anybody that votes against the act. Number one,
votes no for the Save Act. Well, there's only one we talked about, Lisa Murkowski,
and the other one is what Elon Musk says. He's going to put the money to the ones that are running against him on the primary. That's the only way going to win these people. It's not because it's the money that comes out and the people got to go out and vote too. Besides. But, you know, they watch the commercials on TV, how bad the other guy is, and he's not that bad. But the whole thing is, it's all the propaganda that's on there, which they could advertise. I mean, there was a guy running here for office, put Trump's picture, everybody else's picture on there. And Trump didn't endorse him, but he could do that. It's not him doing it, it's another company that's doing it. So it goes like that. Because they wanted him in office. Because then they could keep the status quo, you know?
No, they don't want to upset the apple cart, George. The Unit Party has a big apple cart, and it's funded by the American taxpayer, the American worker, and they don't want to upset it. There's a lot of money for them to be made.
Yep, it's a lot of money, right? Look at the they just did a whole thing. They passed a bill in here in Florida about keeping the land more rural than anything, and they said they just changed the whole thing around. Because the builders are dumping so much money. You got Doe Webb putting these big complexes up, taking away our farmland, and they're just damaging the farmland. I mean, that is the main strategy of everything, to destroy the farmlands. That's why they did the solar panels, the solar farms, and windmills, and all this shit and everything else, because to kill our food supply. You better start growing your own shit.
And that goes back to Agenda 2030. It's to force everybody into, metro areas and everything, and allow for the rural area to be used by, UNESCO. That's their whole big thing. But Agenda 2030 is probably a whole nother Wednesday wormhole, because a lot of things that are happening right now fit right into that. Whether we think they're pushing it or not, it's still done because we're run by corporations. We're not run by the people. And I think that's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, though. Look how much with the corporate lobbying and everything. Look at all that goes on with that kind of stuff. Big Pharma owns Congress. I mean, if they would have never legalized advertising for pharmaceuticals, they wouldn't have the money to lobby like they do now. And look how much influence they have. And, we don't have the influence anymore. I think that's a shame. It used to be the other way around.
Yeah. The whole thing is, like, I used to ride these roads, they're gorgeous back roads, and all of a sudden now they got the streets there, and then they got these circular things in there, and all of a sudden you see on the right hand side they wipe out all the trees, and they'll throw up a couple of palm trees, but they wipe everything out. Now, besides that, I'm not a great environmentalist, but now you got coyotes running around. Then the people want to know why their dogs are missing.
Listen, I think development is important, right? Development's important. But there has to be certain, you got to follow zoning laws. You got to follow. They rewrite the zoning laws. They've rechanged the zoning laws. They put somebody in there, and every type of town should have like some type of master plan of areas they want to keep saved and preserved and all. They don't care about that. They come in, they do whatever the donor wants.
What I heard was great this morning is that now the apartment stuff is starting to lower and stuff like that, because, believe it or not, a lot of illegals went back. Now apartments are available.
Rents you're talking about. Rents have actually been going down. Not as big of a
because now the illegals are gone.
The demand is not outweighing the supply, so it's bringing the price.
But isn't that something about the illegals that went back? What comes available now?
Oh yeah. What was the hotel? The Roosevelt
the Roosevelt Hotel, yeah.
In New York, it was. I think it was owned by somebody in Pakistan or whatever.
Yeah.
And our government is paying was, I don't know if they're still paying, hopefully or not, all kind of money to help.
A couple of $100 a night. Yeah.
Yeah.
They paid them the going rate.
Dollars.
Yeah, they were paying them the rate that they charge for the hotels in the area. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're going to raid Michael Schwartz's show, and tomorrow Alexandra Bauer will be with us right at 8:30. She's going to come in and she's going to talk about the MAHA summit in Washington, D.C. and the Working Mom Summit that was at the White House, because she went to both of them. So I think that will be a good one there. She's going to get a lot of stuff packed into 30 minutes. So.
Awesome. I'm going to have to cut off at 9 also tomorrow, because I have my work issue going on tomorrow. But that's good. She's a great guest.
She said she's going to have a lot to pack in, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. It'd be something a little bit outside of politics. It'd be a little bit more about some of the issues culturally we face in as a country. Yeah,
she's always a great guest.
She's got to run for office. I think she's got to do good.
I think one day you probably see her run for office. It depends. I mean, it hopefully she doesn't get burned out what she's doing now. She's all over the place. She's always, and then I think the 28th or 26th we have some big function going on in New Jersey, which I'm sure I'll see her at. It's at the State House in Trenton.
Yeah, she's going. She's speaking there. So I think she is very. She's very, I don't know how you want to say it, but she knows what she's talking about and stuff. Slick sync, I guess I would say. She can get right to the point in a few words.
She's active and she's definitely in sync without a doubt.
Yeah, well, let's see. What should we go out?
Who's Brentford?
Oh, that's somebody.
Hey, it's Barry Morgenstein's birthday today. Happy birthday to Barry.
Oh, happy birthday, Barry Morgenstein.
Yeah, how about that?
All right. Well,
photo man.
Ready to go.
Till the whole damn room learns what I said. Protect what's mine as a blood-borne vow. Say a word wrong, burn this bitch down. I don't bluff, motherfucker, I take.
Well,